This video is sponsored by EA. Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing Halloween so far and thank you so much for joining me here today for this very special video. So first and foremost, happy Halloween, and secondly, happy The Sims 4 Life and Death launch day. I am so excited. I always get really excited when packs released for The Sims 4, but today I am especially excited because I have teamed up with EA themselves to create a bucket list to help with the launch, and today we're going to be crossing something off of our bucket list, which is building a home for the Grim Reaper. Initially, some of you with a keen eye might have already read this when I put the bucket list on the screen. We were going to be decorating an apartment for Grim, but I think we all agreed that Grim deserved his own house in Ravenwood, which is the new world that is coming with The Sims 4 Life and Death, and so that is exactly what we're doing here today. If you would like to partake in this bucket list challenge for yourself, then please feel free to do whichever ones kind of speak to you the most. We've got some casts in there as well, which is something that's a little bit unusual for me, but I am of course embracing the change. So yes, here we are. We are currently working on the exterior of this build for Grim, and we are building in the nighttime as well, which is something that I wouldn't usually do, but I just think this fits in with the entire vibe. Yeah, it's Halloween, so as I'm recording this right now, it is Halloween. It is a house for Grim. When you think Grim, you kind of think spooky, nighttime, death, you know. it's sort of usual thoughts when Grim sort of pops into your head. But yeah, I love this house. I do genuinely love this house. The interior is just so fitting for Grim. The exterior is as well. And so I really hope you all enjoy this. And of course, we are using a lot of items from The Sims 4 Life and Death, as well as some items from a few other packs as well. And yeah, this is it. This is Grim's house pretty much. All we really do after this is add some landscaping pieces, and just kind of add some more detailing to the front. I wanted it to be, I didn't want Grim to live in a mansion. When I think Grim, I don't necessarily think, oh, he lives in a mansion. I think he enjoys like the finer things in life, and his house is very nice inside, but it's not particularly big. He has a bedroom, of course. There's one bathroom, there's a kitchen, a living room, it's a kitchen dining as well. There's not a separate dining room, and then he does have a home office as well. But the bathroom's really cool because I kind of split like this long room into two. So when we get onto that, I shall show you what I'm talking about. But now we are currently working on the landscaping of this build, pulling out a few debug items from Life and Death, of course, including this very creepy looking tree. Well, actually, there's another tree here that's a little bit creepy as well, this grey one. I'm obsessed with creepy trees in The Sims 4, and when I get the opportunity to use them, you best believe that I am using them. But I also wanted to add little pops of colour to the landscaping as well, because I don't think, I mean, Grim probably loves the colour black, right? Kind of like me. I love wearing black and things like that, but I think he enjoys like pops of colour, particularly sort of in his house as well. So I kind of wanted to get that across, both with the exterior of the build, obviously not the house itself, just the landscaping, and then the interior of the build as well. I didn't want it to be just all like one shade inside. I wanted there to be, a little bit of variety, and so that's kind of what I ended up doing on the interior. But yeah, I have already spoken about this, but we do have some tombstones out here as well. Grim probably collects them, you know, as and when he wants to. These are Sims that perhaps he had a soft spot for, or he just couldn't quite let them go. I don't really know. I didn't I didn't give it that much thought, but I thought, you know, Grim has to have some sort of tombstone situation in the front of his house, of course. And then this is when you can see, so off camera I did some work on the lighting, so I added some spooky green lighting to this build just to help contrast with the dark brick, and I think it looks kind of wonderful, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I might be biased because obviously I did build this, but I do think it looks kind of wonderful, and I haven't played around with lighting in The Sims for what feels like a really long time, so when I get to do builds like this, especially around Halloween, I just always have the best time. I really do. But can we just talk about these windows for a second, because these windows are from Life and Death and they are genuinely beautiful, beautiful windows. I tried to use, as I said at the beginning, as many items from the pack as possible, just so that I can kind of showcase what the build buy catalogue has to offer, and I am genuinely impressed by the build and buy. It's very intricate, it's very detailed, it's very in keeping with the theme of the pack, which is of course always a plus, and I'm genuinely thrilled. I'm also thrilled that this pack is releasing on Halloween. I spoke about this in a speed build a couple of weeks ago. I don't think this has ever happened in the Sims universe. Has a pack ever released on Halloween? I'd love to do a little bit of research into that. I would love to think that the original Sims Making Magic came out on Halloween, but maybe we weren't that lucky back then. You know, we're talking like was it 2000 when that came out? Just a very long time ago. That was a good pack. Anyway, we're not talking about the Sims 1 here. We're talking about the Sims 4. But yeah, we are almost finished with the landscaping here. It didn't really take me too long, just because I kind of wanted the landscaping just to kind of not be repetitive. It's not repetitive. Well, I suppose it could be classed as repetitive landscaping, but it just didn't take me that long to kind of put it together. And also with the fact that the lot isn't that big as well, I was so pleased to see that we actually got a 20 by 20 lot in the Life and Death pack, because it's just a really nice size lot. It's not too overwhelming or anything like that. Anyway, we have moved on to the interior, just laying out the floor plan here. I'm going to be honest, I did try and floor plan this off camera to begin with, because I knew that it was going to be a little bit of a challenge, just because it's quite wide but it's not very deep, this house, especially on the ground floor. On the upper floor it is a little bit wider, just because of the way that the house kind of panned out, but it was a little bit of a challenge, but we got there in the end. And then we do start working on the living room. First of all, I love this living room. I think it looks fantastic, again using so many items from this new pack. I wanted to just see what we got, see what the crack was, and see how I could kind of integrate them into Grimm's house. And I think it worked out beautifully. This fireplace, look at the detailing on top of that fireplace. And then of course we had to add, you know, a framed picture of Grimm himself, because he's probably quite proud of what he does, and I can imagine he is the kind of sim who likes to have pictures of himself in his own house. He definitely gives off that vibe, or at least that's kind of what I think. So anyway, please let me know in the comments down below if you agree that Grimm would have pictures of himself hung up in his house. And then we gave him a raven, of course. When I think the Grim Reaper, I assume that he would have a raven kind of like on his shoulder. He doesn't, but maybe like we could pretend that Grimm likes to take his raven out on his work day, shall we say. But yeah, I decided to put a raven in here, and you can interact with the raven as well. It's quite cool, but I did decide to add that in here as well. Can we just talk about this sofa as well for a second? It is beautiful. The rugs as well. Now, I love adding rugs. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know I've got a little bit of an obsession. I think we can say I've got a bit of an obsession with placing rugs in my Sims 4 builds, and I'm not going to apologise for it. It's just who I am. The day that I stop placing rugs in my Sims builds is a day that I am no longer myself. I can honestly say that. Anyway, I digress. Let's not talk about rugs anymore. We've already talked about them enough. I did add this little vase on top of this like console unit. That is from the new artist kit, and it kind of has the dead leaves fallen off, and I thought that was quite appropriate for Grimm. I don't think he's particularly good at watering his plants. Although he does have some alive plants in this house. You might notice that I do add some plants as we go along this build, and I just thought it kind of added to that contrast. You know, I think Grimm is actually quite a stylish sim in terms of like his interior. That's kind of what I was getting from this anyway. And that grandfather clock as well, that's from Life and Death. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I can't remember the last time we got like a grandfather clock in a pack. I know we got one with vampires, but it's a very specific style, is that one, whereas I think this one would kind of fit more in different types of builds. And then we work on the entryway here. It's actually quite big for an entryway, especially an entryway in a RachelPedd house. Again, it's a little bit of a standing joke on the channel that this is no different really. When I say what I'm about to say, you just got to stay with me for a second. But like, you walk in and then the stairs are right there. And technically that is true, but it probably doesn't feel as cramped because the room itself is actually much bigger than a lot of the hallways that I design. Which is fine. It's not a problem. Anyway, and then I do add a little bookshelf in here just because I wanted to try and utilize as much of the space as I possibly could. I didn't just want there to be decorative things in here. I wanted this room to actually have a purpose as well. So there is a bookshelf on this, well, bookcase, sorry, on this floor, so that Grimm can obviously access his books and do research into new things, you know, whatever he wants to do. And then I add this little like skull in a jar. That is from the Vampires pack. And then I also gave him this book. I think that was from Realm of Magic, and I know that might seem like a really weird thing, but maybe like when he takes the souls of Sims, he makes a note of their name in this book. That's just kind of what I thought. And also it was to help fill up that space as well, because I felt like there just needed to be an item there as well. I don't know whether you'll agree or disagree with that. I'm not entirely sure. But this is the kitchen. The kitchen is actually quite simply decorated, and there is a kind of method to my madness with this. I don't think Grimm is a big foodie, particularly. I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not sure. Is Grimm alive or is Grimm dead? I'm not sure if he's actually alive. So that's kind of another reason when I was creating this kitchen, I didn't really want to add too many things in here because I don't think he spends a lot of time in this kitchen. I'm going to be honest. I can't imagine that he's, like I said, a big foodie, or that he likes to cook, or he has people around for parties. I just don't think that that's the case. So the kitchen, compared to a lot of kitchens that I have designed in the past, probably does seem a little bit more plainly decorated. But I think that's kind of in keeping with the whole aesthetic of the house and Grimm's personality as well, because I had to obviously keep that in mind when I was creating this. So it just made all the sense in the world. We have a little skull on top here as well, and I think that's like a little dead frog in the like, it's not a jar, but like the container on the side. I think it's a frog, but it's like paint. It's got a skeleton on it painted. It's really cool. So I added that in a couple of rooms of this house actually. And then we do move on to the upper floor. So this is where we start working on, I don't know whether we start working on the bathroom first. Yes, we do, because when I got up here, I panicked a bit because I thought, how am I going to divvy out this space where a bathroom makes sense? But in a house like this, that's kind of, it's a bit grand, not in size, but just in the way it's presented. And so I thought, let's split this room down the middle so that Grimm can enjoy a nice hot bath. You know, when he's had a long day, he can have a hot bubble bath. And then in the room just next to it, obviously it's divided by an archway and a wall. This is where we add the toilet and the sink and some counters, and we just make it look a little bit fancy. I think it's really in keeping with not only Grimm, but the style of house as well. And I was so pleased when I figured this out. I was panicking, I must admit. When I moved onto this floor, I was panicking that I wasn't going to make this work. And I think I just about got away with it. I really do. I think I just about got away with this. Again, using more items from the Life and Death pack, although this toilet is from Vampires. I just thought it fit with the vibe so well, and I don't really get to use that toilet, so I was like, yes, we're going to use that toilet here. For sure. Just adding some more trinkety pieces just to kind of beef out the space, fill out the space a little bit. Of course, more rugs, although I do end up having a little bit of a conundrum with the rugs when I move on to the landing or the hallway at the top of the stairs. We'll talk about that when I get onto it, but I first tried one from Werewolves, and then I was like, no, I don't like the way this looks, and then I switch it out a few times. Like, this is me just, I mean, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I genuinely have no idea, but it's okay. We got there in the end, and that's the main thing. But I like to show the whole process, because then you can come along the journey with me. You know, you can come along the journey with me. So yeah, and then I figured that I figured out that I hadn't put some curtains on some of the windows, and I was like, okay, I can't have that. So the landing is quite simply decorated. We do have the grandfather clock up here again, another picture of Grimm, which is from the tarot card deck, but they have the artwork from the tarot cards in framed pictures as well, which I thought was beautiful. So we do have various ones throughout the house, but I thought Grim would again just have another picture of himself on the landing, because if he does have guests over, just in case they forgot what he looked like, you know, that's definitely an option. And this is where I just went completely nuts with the rugs, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I finally settled on which rugs I wanted where, and then we move on to Grim's bedroom again, because I'm not entirely sure if Grim is alive. Does he require sleep? Does he require food? But I wanted the house to be functional, so that if you did want to move a sim in here, then you could use it as a functional house. So this is Grim's bedroom, again very in keeping with the style of the entire build and also with Grim's personality. The bed, this bed, it's so beautiful, of course, from Life and Death. Again, trying to use as many items from that pack as I possibly could to cram into this house. I am loving seeing everybody's builds as well, by the way. The builds that people are creating with this pack at the minute are just absolutely stunning, and I'm so thrilled to just jump on the bandwagon and try and kind of put my own flair on it. I have already created a build with this pack. I will pop a card in the top right hand corner for you, actually, in case you haven't seen it. It was my very first build with this pack, and it definitely has a different vibe to this house, which is always nice when you manage to do like two completely different houses but with the same pack in the same world. It's always kind of cool when that comes together. But just while we're talking about builds and things like that, don't forget, if you would like to try this bucket list for yourself, I'll pop it up on screen for you so that you can see kind of what we're aiming towards over the next few weeks and what we're going to be achieving together. But yeah, if you would like to partake, then please feel free to send me screenshots, tag me, tweet me, send me a message on Instagram. I would love to see what you think of this bucket list challenge, because I did I had some help making some of the bucket list items, but I did pretty much think of it myself, so I was quite impressed with myself there. But yeah, I'll also post it on my social medias as well, so that you have reference to it. Super exciting. Anyway, this is Grim's office. You know, Grim has to have an office. He needs to have a place to work. And this beautiful wallpaper, I need to talk about it for a minute, because it's not like anything I've ever seen in a Sims pack before. My jaw hit the floor when I saw this wallpaper, and I was like, I need to find a way to use this in this build. And I thought, why not use it in Grim's office? It's just kind of the perfect opportunity to add this. And then we do add some like artwork on the wall, just because you can see the one of Grim in the top right hand corner. And then I put like a little tarot card on the desk with Grim's face on it because why not? This is just how Grim, this is how he jams. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the video now, so thank you so much for joining me here today, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much again to EA for sponsoring this video. Again, if you'd like to try this bucket list challenge for yourself, it's been shown throughout this video a couple of times, and it will be posted on my social media channels as well, so I can't wait to see what you all come up with. But as well, this house will be available to download from the gallery from launch day, which is today. So hopefully by the time you see this video, it will be up on the gallery under my ID, which is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, will be listed down in the description box just below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. Happy Halloween again. I hope you all have an amazing evening, day, doing whatever you're doing. And thank you again. And I will see you all next time. Bye.